Hey everybody, I hope you all had a good weekend. I had a really good week. I went and traveled to quite a few places and did a few things that I love to do. So this past week has been really exciting in crypto, which is great. Finally, right? Things have been really slow for the last 6 months, and that's pretty much what happens. So you think crypto's dead, and then it just moons kind of out of nowhere. I mean, the indicators will tell you with a pretty good chance what direction it's going, but sometimes you just gotta wait out the storm, right? So the first time ever Bitcoin has hit $81,400, which is wild. So everybody that's ever bought Bitcoin is in the profit, which is amazing. Good for everybody that's hung on. And I think we lost probably maybe half the group or so. No, not half the group. Well, since since people have joined, I think about 50% stayed, which is actually pretty good. I think most of these groups, they just don't really stick around too long. And plus, I haven't really been promoting it all that much. I was just gonna write out this and then take my money out and move on to something else. But thanks for sticking it out. Keeps me busy and lets me stay more involved than I probably would be on my own, which is great. But sometimes things are pretty boring, so there's not a whole lot to talk about, but there is today. So, all right, so BTC has broken past this level, right? So if we look at structure, let's go down to a monthly. The structure, the support levels for BTC. Sorry, I'm using a different mouse, and this mouse is not doing what I want it to do. Not doing what I want it to do at all. Well, that's odd. Okay, if that causes another problem, I'm going to plug in the other mouse. It needs to charge. So you've got your structure levels right here. Okay, this is your major structure level. A major support is 71,000. So if we were to come back down, we'd probably bounce from this level at some point. But based on the bullishness of this, probably not. We might not revisit this level for a while. Like, this might be a support level on the next bear market. But that is our floor for the most part. Bitcoin's in new high territory, so one way to judge where it's going to go is to use the Fibonacci retracement on a grand Fibonacci. So pull that level all the way down to the bottom here, and then you've got your support or resistance right at about 103,000, and then your next one on the grand fib is 157,000. So we're either going to stop, we're probably going to pull back at 100,000. There's probably going to be some major sell off or something going on at 100,000. And then if we were to pass through 100,000, then you'd probably hit 156. I think that would be the max level that you would hit in this bull cycle. I highly doubt we go any farther than that. The other thing that I'm a little bit worried about is this trend line here. So we're matching up with 100,000 and this trend line. So you could have some significant pullback there, and then finally peak out within this box here. So nothing to really worry about. I don't think until about 100,000. 88,000 might be a little bit of trouble, just because I've noticed for some reason Bitcoin and like 88,000 has always, like 8,800, like it's always been some kind of eights for some reason on Bitcoin. It's just weird. Somebody said that a long time ago. I didn't really believe it, but whenever I started noticing we'd hit some kind of 8,800 level, or we would have some kind of a sell-off. So for some reason 88 is weird. But then after that, about 100,000. Okay. Looks like we're getting there pretty quick. So let's see how this month plays out. Maybe we have a sell-off in December, like we top out sometime in December for tax season, and then next year we have another leg to the upside. But that's we're just kind of speculating there. Weekly looks really good. Nothing new on the weekly. Volume looks okay. So that's pretty much it for BTC. Let's look at Doge. Okay, so Doge passed through the zero line. This is what we were talking about. Normally when we pass through the zero line on a weekly, it's a really strong indicator of what's about to come. And sure enough, Doge has broken past its first wave. And now we're in wave 3. Volume looks pretty good. The indicators are a little overextended. Let's actually look at a different one here. So Doge, USD, Binance. Okay, but we can look. So let's draw a line that goes across on the weekly stochastic RSI where we're at right now. Okay, so we topped here, right, on wave 1. Wave 3 is more impulsive, so it should pass that, correct? So over here, you can look that at this point where we are now was just right around here, okay? And then we had this really big move to the upside. Okay, at least on the indicator. We didn't have to worry about anything until Doge hit 97 on the RSI, 98 on the RSI. That was like the maximum point that Doge could get to. Okay, and currently we're only at like 80. So we could be let's see, 90, there was some kind of resistance there. But before some major pullback, that's probably 70% or so, 60% pullback, we were at level 96. Okay, so we have a long ways to go before that happens. Now, so yeah, there's nothing, I mean, some of these coins may do really well now, and you could be up 100% or so, and you've been buying for a long time, so it sounds really nice to take some profits, but currently there's nothing to really worry about. Like, you would just be playing Russian roulette getting out currently, right? Because the facts just don't line up to get out of the chart. We are in the oversold territory, but you can even look over here. When we were in the oversold territory, we were literally right here, and this thing went up a 10x from that point. Okay, not saying that that's going to happen today, but just because you're in the overbought area does not mean it's just to keep your mind on it. Say, okay, we're in the overbought area. We should start paying attention. Okay, so there's just a whole bunch of momentum moving into the market, and I think Elon Musk is, since Trump won, Elon Musk is going to, I believe he's going to be like a government financier or something for government spending. And he did mention something. I was watching a TikTok the other day, and he did mention wanting to put government spending on transparent to where everybody can comment on certain types of government spending, which I think is a pretty good idea. The only problem I would think with that is like if it's foreign entities could see what we're really spending money on military wise maybe, but I'm sure there's a way around that, and you wouldn't really want that. But everything else I think would be a great idea to know what the government is spending their money on. So I would assume he would put that on some type of a blockchain. And the only blockchain that Elon is talking about or has talked about is DOGE, and I think you would be able to do that on something like DOGE. So that is a possibility. How high can this go? Okay, so let's go to see if this shows here. So top to bottom here was 9,000%. So that almost doesn't seem right. So bottom to top of this cycle, 20,000%. So bottom here to top here, 20,000. Okay, this one here. Let's just use the candles. Bottom to top here was 43,000. This is actually the only token that's done that. That's crazy. Yeah. Guys, I have no idea how high this can go, to be quite honest. This is the only token that is not showing diminishing returns. Let's look at this one more time. So 20,000. And then 50,000. Because I really don't know. I don't know how high this one's going to go. It would have been nice if it was diminishing returns because you could take that, but basically it's exponentially grown. So it went from 20,000 to like 40 or 50,000. So it basically doubled. So even if we went up to 20,000, you'd get like $12, which just seems super crazy to me. But as we go up, I will just chart it and see where it ends up going. We're just gonna wait for these indicators to match the indicators over here. That's the plan. So price, I'm not going to look at price or pay attention to price. I'm going to look at the weekly indicators and probably the monthly indicators and compare them to past history. That is the only way that's the best way to really predict where this thing can go. But we are in wave 3, so we're in this area right here. So we're going to see how high the next month or two end up going. And then you're going to have some kind of a sell-off like this, most likely, and then a final leg to the upside, so a sell-off, and then a final leg. And then another long extended bear market. Okay, so Doge looks pretty good. I really wish I would have bought more, but still things are fairly cheap. Sui. Okay, so Sui on the weekly has crossed the stochastic RSI. And the only problem that I'm seeing is you're getting bearish divergence. So you have a really strong volume candle, and this one is a weaker, stronger candle as the price is going up. So the next level here is right at about $5.50. That is almost 700% from this box down here, the first box, 600%. So that is where we could actually top, at least temporarily, and then you could have some kind of a pullback, right? And then the fifth leg sometime within next year. I'm going to look at the indicators as we approach this, but you are starting to have a little bit of concern there. But on the other indicators, it's not really a problem, not yet. This could have a little bit of divergence here on a weekly, which would be bad. But even the 3-day, I mean, you still have momentum to the upside. And the daily, you still have quite a bit of room here. So nothing to really worry about on Sui yet. I think if you bought in this, around this area, should be about 300% right now, and then that would bring it about 700%. So let's see how that plays out. This can go higher. This wave 3 can go to $10 or higher. There's just not a whole bunch of price data to where you can determine where the stochastic RSI topped last cycle, because it's a new token. So we're just going to have to use the divergence and then the grand Fibonacci. Okay, so nothing to really worry about on Sui just yet. XLM. So rising tide raises all ships. Everything should probably moon, I would expect. Doge is kind of leading the market here. XLM, you have weekly cross on the stochastic RSI, MACD as well, but it's been crossed for a while. But a lot of these tokens should just look like Doge here fairly quick. 1 week can, just like Doge, 1 week can make up for a year of price data. And that's what it looks like it's doing. It's something like over here. But if you just go straight up, you're going to have bigger corrections, right? So if this just moons straight up to here, you're probably going to have a big correction, and then you might just not build structure. So XLM looks really good. ADA, this is a really good example. So I bought some ADA the other day just because everything was moving, and ADA was broken out of this bullish pattern here. It already retested. Since Doge was running, I would expect ADA to run as well, just the way the indicators looked. But you have 1 week that completely marked out all of the price action since last March. So you could have another bigger week this next week and mark out most of this bear market. I did watch something. A friend of mine sent me a video of Charles Hodgkinson, however you say his last name. He's the creator of Cardano. I guess Trump is going to allow him to regulate the crypto industry, so he's going to look into it a little bit more, because I was watching on the way back home. I was listening to him, and it sounds like Trump's just going to put him in charge, kind of like the SEC for digital assets, because the SEC has been causing a lot of stifling whenever it comes to innovation within cryptocurrencies, just like suing Ripple and a lot of the other things that they've done. They've done probably some good things, but most of it's just been detrimental to the ecosystem. So I'd really expect having Charles in there would be a really, really good thing. And of course he wants his project to do well, so anything that looks like Cardano is probably going to be safe from any kind of SEC lawsuit. So, let's see, this candle, weekly candle, an 80% weekly candle, bullish engulfing weekly candle. That's probably the biggest candle we've ever seen, except right here. This thing hadn't even passed through the zero line yet, so this is just getting warmed up. Also, looking back at the top of wave 3, the RSI was at 94. Okay, we're at 67. Okay, so these numbers are quite possible. Those are your grand Fibonacci levels. So let's look at a monthly. If I can get there. Okay, so wave 2 to the top of wave 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 months of price action pushed ADA 1,600%. Okay, so if we were to do 1,600% from the bottom of this, your price could be around $5 in 4 months from now. Now, if we just get another monster candle and another monster candle, I'd probably get out on the third candle. Yeah, if you just get really, really big candles, you just know that it needs to consolidate or correct, and then you can wait to get back in. But just remember, after we hit one of these levels, it's probably going to fall 90%. I'm looking at OMG on my phone. So OMG company has pretty much just went to crap. The last week looked pretty good, but it might just, it could run just because a rising tide raises all ships, right? So it could run, but that's one that is probably never going to go anywhere. Somebody could come out and say, I'm going to use this token for whatever, and that's something they could do. You never know. THETA as well is running pretty hard right now, and it's something I would actually buy. T-Fuel would probably do the same thing, but most likely this thing's going to run as well. So it looks just like Cardano for the most part. You've got your breakout here, and fell a little bit lower than what I had there, but this should be $4 or so in no time. Hasn't passed the zero line yet, but it did cross on the stochastic RSI, so this thing could run really, really hard soon. Let's put some extra money from my BNB into this, just because I think Theta is going to outperform BNB. I'm down on that trade, but I didn't have a whole lot anyway. I just didn't want to be paying attention to way too many tokens. So if you don't have any Theta, I think Theta would be a pretty decent one to grab. It's on Binance US. If you don't have that, you could probably buy T-Fuel. Let's look at T-Fuel real quick. T-Fuel's doing the same thing. So you've got your channel right here. You could probably even draw this like this. You've got your breakout, your retest, and then your moonshot. So you've got a cross and stochastic RSI for a weekly, and this thing can just take off. Next level of resistance here is about almost 30 cents. So that's like 400% from where it's at now. And then your targets would be above $1. ICP. ICP kind of doing the same thing. You've got a stochastic RSI cross, and then a weekly bullish engulfing candle. I bought some of this, I think, yesterday, day before yesterday. Low volume pullback, so everything looks good here. Wave 3 should be bigger than wave 1, and this was 600%. So at minimum, this wave 3 should be 600%. There is a chance that wave 3 is not as big as, it just can't be the smallest wave. So I would assume it's, most of the time it's bigger than wave 1, so it should be bigger than 600%. So let's see when this one ends up moving. Let's take a look at XRP. That'll be the last one for today. XRP has a bullish engulfing candle, and then a stochastic RSI is about to pass through the 20 line. So I do expect this to start running as well. Once we clear, I think about 75 cents, this thing, once this breaks out of this, you would probably see a very, very strong move. Like a very, very strong candle. It could break out and retest this line, but there is a chance that this thing just takes off and doesn't look back, because there's so much pressure that's been built up here. That's why I've been accumulating XRP quite a lot. let's actually look at DOT. I don't really like how that's shaped up, but you could probably still use that just the same. Nothing any different really on this one. I mean, you have your first wave, second wave came all the way back down to the low here, so wave 3 should be pretty impulsive. Everything looks good on the indicators. Just haven't passed the 0 line yet. You'll probably pass in the next couple of weeks. Alright guys, that's all I've got for today. If you have any questions, ask them in the chat group, and I'll be glad to help out in any way. If you have anybody that's interested in joining, let me know, and I will talk to you all on the next video.